Welcome back. You're watching the late night news on NDTV Hindu. Just 2 days after the Newman College decided to sack Professor T.J. Joseph, the professor whose hand was chopped off by Islamic fanatics, he has made a fervent appeal, quite literally begging the college to take him back. This comes even as the college has said that Professor Joseph has been found guilty of disturbing communal peace in Idukki district in Kerala. Despite all the fervent appeals by Professor Joseph, Newman College does not seem to be in a mood to go soft and reinstate the sacked professor. Sources in the college have told NDTV Hindu that the professor will not be taken back on compassionate grounds. In fact, Professor T.J. Joseph, in a letter written to the college, has said, and I quote, "I humbly request that you take back the decision to remove me on humanitarian grounds. I have not deliberately done any harm to anyone. I am the sole breadwinner for my family and my salary is the sole means of sustenance. Nobody who knows me has called me a heretic or a mischief monger, and 25 years of my teaching life is unblemished." The college, however, seems to be unwilling to listen to Professor T.J. Joseph. Moving on, a day after the Supreme Court upheld Mayawati's land acquisition for the Yamuna Expressway project, Sonia Gandhi has said that acquired land should not result in loss of fertile land. The Congress president also said farmers should be compensated adequately. Her remarks come in the middle of a raging debate within the UPA on the contentious land acquisition bill, with the Trinamool Congress insisting on strong measures to protect farmers' interests.
Land acquisition must be done in a manner that does not result in the loss of large tracts of fertile and productive agricultural land, which is so indispensable to grow food grains needed to feed our people. And if farmers are of necessity deprived of their land-based livelihood, they must be provided with adequate compensation and alternative occupations.
As the centre prepares to announce a special Eid peace package for Kashmir, political parties in the valley have welcomed it, but with caution. While the ruling National Conference says lifting of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act from some areas in Kashmir would be a good beginning, the main opposition party, the PDP, says the package should not be seen only as cosmetic. Both the National Conference and the PDP say that the centre needs to follow it up with more measures to bring down the anger in the valley and respond to the aspirations of the people. The Cabinet Committee on Security will meet on Friday on the eve of Eid to consider the lifting of AFSPA from 4 districts. Other efforts could also be taken to get some normalcy back to the state. The Delhi government has said that there is no danger to the Commonwealth Games village due to the rising waters of the Yamuna. This comes after a high-level meeting on Thursday to discuss the flood alert in the capital. The government says that all low-lying areas facing the danger of flooding being evacuated. The alert has been issued as the Yamuna River continues to flow above the danger mark. Meanwhile, according to the Delhi government, dengue is nowhere close to being an epidemic, but a closer look reveals the truth. What the government has done to selectively used the data to manipulate the numbers. The official figures of the disease are only 1,500 cases and 4 deaths. But here's the contradiction. This varies vastly with the hospital figures. Just a look at the figures from 4 hospitals reveal that there are nearly 3,000 cases at least. Ahead of the Commonwealth Games, some countries have already issued travel advisories to their athletes. Now Delhi has less than 1 month to fix the dengue crisis before it gets further out of hand. Now, a person with diabetes is 25 times more likely to go blind. Unfortunately, 1/3 of the diabetics have never heard of the disease called diabetic retinopathy. In India, which is the diabetic capital of the world, diabetic retinopathy is the foremost cause of blindness. Shankar Nethralaya, a tertiary eye care institution along with research in vision and ophthalmology, is organizing a 3-day conference to explore the possibilities to manage diabetic retinopathy. Well, for more on that, we're now joined by Dr. Rajiv Raman, Senior Consultant with the Vitreoretinal Services of the Shankar Nethralaya. Sir, for my first question to you, there have been so many cases reported in India, but are there adequate eye care professionals to treat this?
A very, very relevant question. Definitely, we need far more number of ophthalmologists to treat the condition, because the number of ophthalmologists who are trained in treating the disease are less. However, for diagnosis of disease, a general ophthalmologist who has done his post-graduation, a 3-year course in ophthalmology, is fairly adequate. He is competent to diagnose the disease. But the trained ophthalmologists are less. A lot of efforts on the part of government and non-governmental organizations in training the doctors in the basic treatment of diabetic retinopathy. The secondary centers and the tertiary centers in the country presently are capable of treating diabetic retinopathy.
Right, sir, but is it particularly high among old age people too?
There is definitely a relation between the duration of diabetes and diabetic retinopathy. The longer the duration of diabetes, the more chances a person gets diabetic retinopathy. It is something like this: if a person gets diabetes early in age, like before 40 years of age, he is nearly 2 times the risk of getting diabetic retinopathy as compared to people who develop diabetes more than 40 years of age.
Right, Dr. Raji Raman, thanks a lot for joining us on the Late Night News. Moving on, time to take a quick break, but on the other side, is it a short-lived attraction? Now inviting huge criticism. Stay tuned to find out more.